Hello and welcome to Saved Not Scammed, where we expose manipulation, uplift the truth, and where we always remember Jesus didn't need an upline, so neither do we. My name is Kayla, and I am a baby Christian. I am also a consumer of anti-MLM content. While consuming that content, a common theme that I began to see was faith manipulation being used to get people to join everyone's latest grift. And I hated it. I absolutely loathed it. And it got so bad to a point where I actually had to take a step back from my faith because I could not understand how people could use God, Jesus, the holy word of the Bible to pitch their products, their scam, their whatever. So finally, I got to a point where I said, Kayla, add your voice to the mix. Go ahead and speak your truth. I am no expert. I am no religious leader. I am on my own journey into my faith. And I wanted to bring you guys along with me because I don't want what happened to me to happen to anyone else, where you watch these Huns, these sisses, as they now call themselves, totally abuse the word of the Lord and my personal savior and think that that's okay. I am honestly really shooketh with the amount of subscribers I have. I'm pretty sure I'm at 40 right now. That is insane to me. I can't thank you enough for joining me on this journey of wanting to call out these MLM Huns for using the Holy Bible, the word of the Lord, of faith, in a really inappropriate way, in my opinion. But not only that, strengthening our relationship with our faith and wanting to dive in deeper. Everything in this video is my own opinion. This is under the Fair Use Act. Everything is shown for critique, for entertainment, for education. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Today is an extra oily episode, or should we say anointed? We have a special feature. This is Abigail Aviva Cordova. Hopefully I said that right. Her description on Instagram says, unashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, mother of 6. Holy tamale. I talk about Jesus plus oils plus motherhood, host of the Oils Market Show, plus For the Mother podcast. The very first, and I had kind of teased this the other day, the very first thing that we have up here is her rubbing some oils onto her baby. It says how to instantly feel better. She's showing us the essential oil that she is using. She's rubbing it on the back of her baby's head, onto her baby's foot, onto her other foot. Then she's taking an essential oil for herself. The first one she used was a kid scent. It is one that is supposed to be designed for kids. And then she says bye and blows kisses. So I didn't know much about this kid scent portion, so I did a little research about it. And the first thing that I looked up was, number one, is it safe to put essential oils onto babies? So of course I used my best friend ever, which is ChatGPT, of course. And I said, is it safe to put pure essential oils directly onto the skin of babies? No, it's not safe, says ChatGPT, to apply pure, undiluted essential oils directly onto a baby's skin. Here's why. Babies have very sensitive skin, and essential oils are highly concentrated plant extracts that can cause irritation, burns, or allergic reactions. Certain essential oils can be toxic to infants, even in small amounts. For example, eucalyptus, peppermint, rosemary, and tea tree oils can affect their breathing, nervous system, or liver function. Their developing bodies, especially their liver and immune systems, are not equipped to process strong substances like essential oils. If essential oils are used all around babies, they should be highly diluted, typically 0.1%, 0.5% dilution in a carrier oil like coconut or jojoba. Only used after 3 months of age and with guidance from a pediatrician or certified aromatherapist. It says never apply near the face, especially the nose or eyes. Avoided in diffusers unless in a well-ventilated space and used briefly, as prolonged exposure can still cause harm. So, with that being said, once again, she used the kid scents. And when I first looked up the kid scents, what really caught my eye was the cost of the product. The retail is $63.16 on Young Living site. The wholesale amount is $48 for a 15 milliliter bottle. All right. And the kid scents, when I looked up the ingredients for it, it has a caprylic triglyceride in it, and the essential oils that was in it, which they said is sweet orange, vanilla oleoresin, I don't know, black spruce, camphor, blue tansy, frankincense, and geranium. So what I said is, based off of the triglyceride being the main carrier ingredient, split the remaining amount just evenly. The total material cost, this is all estimations. I have no idea if this is actually what it costs the company. Could be less, could be more. I have no idea. But this is just me asking ChatGPT for the raw material costs for the triglyceride and evenly splitting the remaining based off of the dilution that's appropriate for kids. The total material cost is 16 cents. Once again, they are selling it wholesale for $48 or retail for $63.16. I guarantee you the bottle probably costs more than that. Absolutely insane, if you ask me, for this kid scent. Something that it makes me think of is greed. When I hear that, to be selling something to mothers, parents, that's who's going to be purchasing this product, this kid scent products. I do want it to be known that I just put on fake tanner and I did not wash it off. So if I look like a Oompa Loompa, that is why. In Matthew 6, verse 24, it says, no one can serve two masters, ... You cannot serve both God and money. This seems like a very greedy company to be potentially, once again, allegedly, I have no idea, but based off of my own calculations with ChatGPT, selling a 16-cent product for the ingredients inside that bottle for $63. That's a markup times thousands of %. I don't know. 1 Timothy 6, verse 10, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Young Living, y'all greedy. Y'all greedy. And really, it's not money. Huns like to say this all the time. They say, God doesn't want you to be poor. Nobody said that. Okay? Money itself is not sinful. It's the love of it. It's the craving for it. That craving leads people away from the truth and into spiritual harm, in my opinion. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 10, whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. I feel like that's every hun ever. That is a lot of companies. So rare that people are like, you know what, I have enough to survive on and I'm good with that. I don't need more. I don't need 10 more recruits. I don't need more. I have enough to live. I'm happy. I have food and shelter and a happy, healthy home. I don't need a new car. I don't need a mansion. I'm good with what I have. And when we're constantly wanting and wanting and wanting for more instead of appreciating what we have, we will never be satisfied. And I think constantly in the Bible, we're being shown over and over again, be thankful for what you're given every single day. Because everything we're given is a gift from God. All right, next video of her rubbing, and this time it is not a kid scent, onto her baby.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that Oceana is teething. And so what I do for teething babies, I take copaiba. It's a very powerful but gentle oil. It's really good for inflammation.
Says teething tip from a mama of 6.
For teething discomfort. So I just take a bottle like this and then I rub it on her jaw. You can even put a little bit on the inside of her jaw if you want to as well. That's so nice. It calms her down if she's fussy. My 3-year-old even runs to go grab this if she starts crying. He's like, she needs her calming oil. So copaiba is her calming oil. But it's so simple to use. It just helps their little bodies process those teethers coming in. Hi. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Super simple. Easy peasy.
I don't think that she means to harm her child. Obviously, she loves her children. But this is an undiluted essential oil. She is also, and I've made this known, that I do not agree, and this is a personal opinion, with using your children for advertisements. Informed consent for social media, let alone for an advertisement. I think that's disgusting. Let's go to the next post by her. So this says, we are visionary mothers building legacy businesses that will impact generations to come. The caption says, I prayed over my business before I ever had it. I've sought after the Lord, waited on him, and asked him to gather the ones he has in mind for this business. You asked him, capital H, meaning God, to gather the ones that he has in mind for his business? So she is saying, I'm going to stop it right there, because she is saying that God gathered up the ones that he has in mind for his business. I did look up the income disclosure statement for Young Living, which is her grift. We've got the associate level, which is the lowest level, which makes up 72.1% in the latest income disclosure statement, that make $0 median. 19.1% make $201 annually, and 5.7% make $1,258 annually. But their personal volume is $100 monthly. That means that the 91.2% of the company can't even meet their base expenses. They are losing money. Point blank, period. Also, the startup kit, bare minimum startup kit, is $165 for Young Living. So just in that alone, lost money. Then you go up to the next one, which is a senior star. Woo! So you're not an associate, you're not a star, you're a senior star. Now your median is 1,258. Once again, PV, $100 monthly, that's $1,200 annually, plus your $165 startup kit. And it says on there in their income disclosure statement, median amount of time to achieve that rank is 12 months. So 12 months have gone by, and you most likely needed to pitch in some money as part of that PV, because PV includes your own amount of money that you spend towards products, including the sales of other people too, your own customers, but also for a star in their compensation plan, senior star, is a 2,000 group volume, organizational group volume. Insanity. After that, the next one, which is an executive, those fellers are making $3,336 if they are working 10 hours a week in the pockets of their time. They are making $6.42 per hour, 10 hours per week, every week. And immediately I thought, listen, if you work like one night at Chili's, or one shift at Chili's a week, or 2 nights, Friday, Saturday, even like a Tuesday, Wednesday night, you can make that easily. And you probably wouldn't even have to do 10 hours. You probably only have to do 5 hours. So yeah, one night at Chili's. Easy peasy. And make that much annually. And guess what? When you're off work, you're off work. I think that would be a much more holy work, serving food to people. Instacart, you could do Instacart. Drive around when your babies are sleeping, so you could bring someone some ice cream when they're getting the craving in the middle of the night. Once again, and when they're off, they're off. Let's keep on going with that post. I don't follow the trends or the popular advice. My goal and aim is to follow after the Lord and seek His direction and peace above the cultural advice in every area of my life, this business included. I trust Him above all else. Do you? Sounds like you trust yourself and your pocketbooks. I'm building a business with the vision of it supplying the means to pursue everything God has called our family to do. This is so much bigger than selling lavender on the internet. I'm building a business with other visionary women and mothers who see this beyond a network marketing business, but see it as a way to provide greater freedom, opportunities, greater choices for their families, and a desire to keep Jesus at the center of it all. Who am I looking for? Women who are strong, steady, brave, gritty fighters for their family, generous, faithful, and able to serve those that God brings in their paths. What this business produces? Women who will radically change things for their families because they aren't a wave tossed to and fro, always looking for the next shiny thing, but they are women of virtue and vision for their family and the future they are creating with the Lord. I know that God is always at work behind the scenes and is moving on hearts and minds right now. If this resonates with you and you have a vision for more for your family, let's talk. #Christian mom, #homemaker, Christian parenting, homemaking ministries, homemaking mama, homemaking Christian moms, Christ centered. You're saying that your family was called to rob people on the backs of false promises? So interesting. I didn't know God calls people to do that. Huh. It's crazy. Couple Bible verses for this specific circumstance, for her post. Isaiah 61 verse 8. I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. We just reviewed the income disclosure statement. Okay. Young Living. I couldn't find an updated one, but back in 2017, their price list had 650 items with an average cost with their discount of about $40 to $45. 650 items. And of course, you got to be a product of the product. How could you even sell it if you're not using it? So on the guise of this being a business that will change your life and heal your family and make you healthy and happy, when we just went over the income disclosure statement, 91.2% of the company are going to lose money. In addition to that, we've got you on camera putting undiluted essential oils all over your baby's face, jaw, whatever. Okay? Ultimately, any form of theft, especially when it harms the vulnerable, is not just wrong, it's something that God hates. It's in the Bible, in the Bible. Okay? Leviticus 19 verse 11, do not steal, do not lie, do not deceive one another. I think she is incredibly deceptive with her marketing tactics, the way that she's pitching this, everything about it. We're going to go into another one of hers, generational wealth, all of that. And this Leviticus verse is pairing stealing, lying, and deceiving, showing how these sins often will go hand in hand. And I think she does all three of these. She's stealing money from others by lying and saying that it's going to be a business that's going to help all these women. She is deceiving them by saying that it's, she needs all these great women to, that are virtuous and, that follow Christ, that this is a virtuous business when it's not.
Turn away from Satan. Jesus, he loves you. You don't know first thing about love. I am filled with Christ's love. God, you are just jealous of my success in the Lord. This is not a weapon, you idiot.
Love Jeremiah for this one too. Love this one. I love this one. Jeremiah 22 verse 13. Woe to him who builds his house by unrighteousness and his upper rooms by injustice, who makes his neighbor serve him for nothing and does not give him his wages. They are independent contracted salespeople. They do not make a wage unless they sell their products, which we already went over are extremely overpriced for the greed of that company, Young Living, in my opinion. And they do not make a cent for every hour they work when they're not selling a product, even if it gets them eventually there. Or they make money by deceiving other people that this is a great opportunity for them to work, because we saw, unless they think $6 an hour is a great opportunity. And once again, that's being very kind and saying that they're only working 10 hours a week. And that's only, how many was that? 2% of the company? Sorry, let me see. 2.3% of the company. Yeah, no. No, thank you. That verse truly is for anyone who profits off of others while offering little to nothing in return. And I think that this opportunity offers little to nothing in return. Okay? Super exploitive business model. And guess what? God sees it. And he condemns it in his holy word. I want to look at that post one last time, because that portion where she's talking about the women that she wants, who I'm looking for, they're strong, steady, brave, gritty fighters, women with virtue and wisdom for their family and the future they're creating with the Lord. Another good verse that I found for this is Jeremiah 23:16. They speak visions from their own minds, not from the mouth of the Lord. They fill you with false hopes. What better way to describe how these MLM sisters promote their business opportunity than false hopes? And here's where it gets spiritually dangerous, in my opinion, is that she's essentially implying that joining her team is somehow a part of God's plan. Maybe even like a calling, God's calling. That's false anointing from the anointed mother. Gross. And that Jeremiah passage is a warning against false prophets, people who make big promises in God's name and claim success or blessings, but are really speaking from their own agendas. And that's exactly what she's doing. I want women who can take this seriously, who won't sway to and fro, so she can make more money. Because it's not enough for her. She's greedy. Abigail, you are greedy. Stop using God in this way. And here's another thing, Abigail. You are hijacking spiritual language. She's making herself sound like a mentor, a ministry leader to these other women, and attaching a moral and a religious weight to what should be a financial decision. And yes, you should pray about it, but not a moral and religious weight from some lady on Instagram. And she's pressuring women of faith into equating signing up for Young Living with obedience to God. Those have no correlation. You can have virtue and vision, and you can walk with the Lord, and you can do all of that without working with an MLM. This next one, I pulled a Julie Joe. She's done this before. I think it was Julie Joe in one of her videos. It says, my wellness cabinet as a mom of 6. And she shows off her cabinet. It says, I can fully customize anything to meet the needs of my family at any moment of the day or night. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 6 shelves in it. And I literally counted one of the rows, times it by 4. So 4 of the shelves has roughly 24 items. The top and bottom shelf have roughly 11 items. I used the $40 average amount from the 2017 price list that I previously said. And once again, prices have probably gone up since then. So I'm being extremely generous with my amounts and costs. But if you've got 24 items times 4 shelves, 11 on the top and bottom, they were both 11. That's 118 items times roughly $40 on average, which ChatGPT helped me come up with that amount with their discount. That little shelf there has $4,720, not including any other products that she might have from Young Living on all the other places in her house. Tell me how the reps are not the customers. Tell me how that the money that they make is not just revenue and that there is zero profit. I'd love to know. Show me. I have never, ever seen. Show me an MLM rep who has bought 2 products and that's it, and made it to the 1%. I'd love to see. Never seen it before. Once again, consumer of anti-MLM content for a decade now. A decade. All right, we're moving on. You know what I think is so funny is the word oily can also mean like a negative connotation. And she really is oily and sleazy and nasty to me. Blech. This one I'm going to pop in the headphones because she's got a business opportunity to sell to us today.
Hey friends.
Hi.
I wanted to talk to you guys really quick. This is a business chat, actually like a business prospect chat that I'm looking for people to work with that are like-minded. And I wanted to kind of share a little bit of my heart behind this business. And so whether you're currently on my team and you're wanting to jump into the business or come back to the business, or you're not on my team and you want to join my team for the business, I wanted to talk to you guys, specifically, I think to mothers, but something that, okay, so first of all, the beauty of this business is I get to prioritize my family, my children, motherhood, my home. I get to decide when and how I do this business. I don't have to compromise my values, my faith, my priorities, none of that stuff. I get to really keep the Lord the center. That is my heart.
Nobody is compromising on their values, on their family, by working a normal job. And by saying this, she is essentially saying you are compromising on your values and on your family by not working a business like this. Gross.
Heart and soul is like Jesus is on the throne and he calls the shots in my life. He's truly the Lord of my life, not just, okay, girl, come and send me a message, please. Hey, Adam. Yes, but if you want in, send me a message. So anyways, he is Lord of my life, not just Savior. He's not just my ticket out of hell, but he is truly the Lord of my life, calling the shots. And having a business like this, I don't have to compromise anything. I get to do this in a way that I feel God is leading me. I love that. I get to prioritize my family. I love that. And this is something that
we have just gone through a large amount of ways in which she is not following biblical values. And it is all because specifically this business. So I find it extremely hard to believe that this business is keeping God at the center of her life.
really love because this type of business really sets you up so there's no cap financially.
Yeah, there's no cap. But also, we know that 99+% will not make any money.
And there's a lot of, I think especially Christians come from a place of misinterpreting what the Bible actually says about wealth and riches and money. And we can take a few different scriptures and think that to be holy is to be poor and to be
Nobody
without.
thinks that.
Not recognizing all that Jesus speaks. He talks more about money than any other thing. and how, like,
She says Jesus talked about money more than any other thing. No, the heck he didn't. What Bible is she reading? Do I need to get my latest 2.0 version? Because that is not true. Once again, do we need to go back to the scriptures about lying? Now she's lying about the Bible? Ooh. Here's what Jesus actually talked about the most. Taught about the kingdom of God, faith and repentance, love for God, neighbors, and enemies alike, righteousness and justice, and eternal life and salvation. Yes, he talked about money. No, he never said go be poor. And the most important things that he's talking about when it comes to money, in my opinion, is the relationship with it. Having a healthy relationship and not being greedy about it, not worshiping it, etc.
God has created us to be influential in this world, and our world's currency is money. And so it is not our God. Like, we cannot serve it. We cannot run after, like, this business isn't to do this so that we get wealthy and rich. Okay. This is, to believe that you are on a mission because God has called you first and foremost to be prioritizing your family and your home, but then to serve your family through finances. I'm saying that word, finances. Is that how you say it? Finances. Anyways, this verse is...
Our influence, according to the Bible, has nothing to do with money. Money is simply a resource. That's it. The influence that we should use according to the Bible is to glorify God. God, you can find that Matthew 5:16. Speak truth and defend the vulnerable. Proverbs 31:8. Serve others and not yourself. Mark 10:43. And steward your gifts faithfully. 1 Peter 4:10. We're using our gifts to uplift, not upsell. Bokeh. I can't wait to see which verse she tries to bring up right now.
Amazing. It says a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. There's other versions. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Kind of all the same thing. But a sinner's wealth is laid up for the righteous. So that thought of, like, a good man is going to...
So let's break it down, shall we? So glad she used this verse because I can absolutely see how, and I love how she skipped past the last part because that's where the goodness lies. So inheritance meant something. It actually came from a Hebrew word that meant something to be passed down. Inheritance in today's language, we just think of a physical thing, monetary, whatever, to be passed down. But in the Hebrew word, it meant land or property, wealth or provisions, but it also could mean a spiritual or a moral legacy to be passed down. So it's not just about money. And also in the verse, it says a good person. So the focus here is on character. You're righteous and right with God. You're wise in your stewardship, your generosity, and your decision making. And it's focused on others. So not hoarding the wealth, but preparing others to thrive. And then leaves an inheritance for their children's children. It's about long-term thinking, which is culturally appropriate in biblical times, especially with land and family honor. Today, that principle can really be extended to instilling godly values, teaching integrity and work ethic, and creating financial stability, obviously, without idolizing wealth. Now, here's where the good part is that she very quickly said real fast. But a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. Here's a contrast. Unjust or greedy wealth doesn't last. It often gets redistributed, lost, or eventually ends up in the hands of those who use it rightly. This rebukes exploitative wealth gained through deception, manipulation, or selfish ambition, which is exactly what she is doing. So I think it's extremely ironic that she's using this verse to justify her business, and that really it's more aligned with the second half, what she's doing. Let's continue watching.
To leave an inheritance to his children's children. And it's that idea, like everything that I do, I have this forward thinking, this long-term vision of what I'm doing. So when I am taking care of my body, and I just did a podcast that I'm uploading right now on my mother podcast, to where I talk about things that I've been learning, and just my mind has been transformed by so many things. It was just one thing that led to another thing. It was like this snowball of hearing this one verse that really trickled down to impact the rest of my life. And so I'm sharing that. I will share the link with you guys later when it's uploaded, but radically like changed my life, like truly, in all honesty. My life has been changed, especially recently, and it's been one of the most beautiful, coolest things ever. However, when I am, taking care of my body physically, it's not to be in a bikini. It's not to fit in a certain size. My long-term vision is that my heart and soul wants to be here for as long as the Lord allows, for me to be spiritually and physically and emotionally and mentally invested in my children, in my children's children, and in my children's children, right? I want to see my great-grands, even great-great-grands, okay? I want to be all in. When God called me to be a mother, I took that as a forever lifetime calling for as many generations as the Lord will allow. And so when I take care of my body, when I'm trying to get strong, I feel like the Lord has called me to be praying for him to make me strong and able. I felt like those two words, strong and able, because I want to be able to hold my great-grands and feel strong and able that many years ahead. Okay. And so when I think even building finances and having a business, my first priority is my home and my children. So, but can I think far enough ahead to think, okay, how can I also make income, not just to survive here, but that I can see generationally down the road ahead of time? How can what I'm doing now impact and bless future generations down the line? Right? How can I create something now that isn't just for the here and now, but is long term? So I think spiritually, I think physically, I want to impact generations. Even
you can absolutely do that by, in my opinion, right now, stopping working for your MLM, rebuking their practices, educating people about their malicious ways, apologizing and repenting for the practices that you participated in yourself, and potentially using your platform to educate others on being aware of how faith manipulation is used to garner victims for people's latest grift, in my opinion.
Mentally and emotionally, I want to break any generational curses of things that have been passed down. I want to end it.
I think your children would be very proud of that for generations to come. That you saw that what you were doing was not okay. It was against God's word and was not in line with the holy word. And you said, I'm going to stop now and I'm going to repent, and I am going to, instead of more riches for myself, I am going to turn down more wealth and more riches, and instead turn to creating a life in which I'm proud of and that aligns better with my faith. I think your children would be really proud of that. But I'm not your child. I'm nobody. You don't got to listen to me. Maybe pray about it. Abigail.
Here, so that my children aren't fighting the same battles, because whatever we choose not to fight, we pass to our children. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, we will pass to them, and either they have to fight it or they pass it to their children. And so I want to be a mom strong enough to say, no way, it ends with me. If there's anything falling that has been falling down, it stops here. And we're going to seek health, and we're going to seek freedom, full freedom, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all of those things. Okay, so that's my heart. I want to be wise and be one of those wise people that leaves an inheritance to my children's children and children after.
I think that you're not free from greed. And that's really unfortunate. I think that it's really clouding your vision and your spiritual mentality.
That, right? And so that means to be wise now, to be aware of what I'm doing now, to be intentional with what I'm doing, with how I'm doing things, with how I'm making money, how I'm spending money, how I'm investing money, how I'm investing my time. So my children are my priority. So for me to do a business like this means that I see the value of what this business can create and has created. And it is a wise investment of my time. They're downstairs, I am upstairs. They know that I'm working. And so
remember at the very beginning how she specifically pitched this to mothers. When the Bible is speaking in regards to children and the vulnerable, he's not just talking about your children, he's talking about all children. So your finances and your stuff, she's saying, me, my children and my this and my that. When the Bible calls us to protect all vulnerable, when you specifically pitch this, when we know that 99% of people will lose money or make no money at all, according to the FTC, link will be down below, as along with the Young Living income disclosure statement. But this is extremely selfish, number one. Number two, you are not protecting the vulnerable. For all those who are not in your family, thousands in your downline that are affected. Matthew 18:6 says, if anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Little ones can be referred to as both literal children and young, or vulnerable believers. Cause to stumble can mean causing them to sin, lose faith, be misled, or be spiritually harmed. Jesus is saying in this, if you exploit, mislead, or spiritually harm someone who trusts him, you're better off drowning, because what's coming is worse. Abigail. Stop targeting mothers for your grift that harms others.
For me, this is worth my time and my investment, because the return is that it blesses my children, and the goal is for it to bless generations to come. That's why I would do a business like this. If I just go down the street and get a side job or whatever, it's going to bless the here and now. But I want to think generationally. How can I bless generations to come? How can I invest my time wisely now? It's doing what I'm doing. And so I am looking for other like-minded women that are willing to work hard, are willing to be open to trying things differently, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And so I want to work with women that value God, that see God as the most important thing in their life, that value their marriage, that value their children, that value their future generations, that can see beyond now and see generationally down the road, and what are they going to do now that will impact generations to come. I believe that that's doing something like I'm doing right now. Are there other ways to do it? Sure. But this is my favorite way to do it, because my actual job is to invest in products that bless the health and wellness of my family, and then I share about it. And that's my job.
My favorite way is to scam lots of people. Yay!
I don't have to bust my butt in, outside of my home and do all these things that I don't want to do. I don't have to do that.
Honestly, she seems a little lazy. I don't want to bust my butt. There's nothing wrong with a little butt busting.
I get to invest into the health and wellness of my babies and tell people about it. That's my job. That is my job. Why wouldn't I do it? It is a no-brainer for me. And so when moms are like,
While scanning people,
it's not working for me. Again, please listen to my podcast. I'm going to share it once it's posted. I'm going to share that because I came to a lot of realizations recently that were like brand new information, like blowing my mind, where I'm like, oh, that's it. But a sneak peek is we have to be aware of what we're doing. So if you feel like you're in a situation where you are stuck, things aren't working, you feel overwhelmed, you just feel like you're doing everything and nothing's working, I promise you there is a way to get out of it. There is an answer, but a lot of times we are blind to what the answer is, or we are full of excuses of why that can't work. I've been doing this business for 8 years now, and I've worked with a lot of women, thousands of women over the years, and I have heard all different things. Some women are like, tell me everything, and they run for it. And they are open, and they are humble, and they're hardworking. Autumn is on here, the holistic nest. She's one of those girls that is like humble and will work her butt off and does this for her family and has the vision for it and will do it. I have other people that I've worked with that all I hear is excuses. So they'll say, tell me everything I need to know. I will tell them. And then they're like, but I can't because I can't do this. And this person said no, and this person, then this person, this person. There's a million excuses. And so they will never get anywhere because they're full of excuses. I love you, Autumn.
Those aren't excuses. They're just saying facts. This person said no. That's a fact.
They're full of excuses. If you are humble and you're like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And how can I pivot? How can I shift? Sometimes that's coming from a leader. Sometimes that's coming from a coach. Sometimes that's coming from a friend. Sometimes it's coming from your husband. Sometimes it's just going straight. And I say just, not meaning just, but truly going to the Lord and investing your time in the Lord, and He will reveal, He will remove the blinders. But I'm just realizing more and more the things that I've been blind to in so many areas and how all of it will connect. Part of it is to do with my business. Part of it has been my health. Part of it's been my own walk with the Lord. Part of it's been my motherhood. There's been so many things that I'm just realizing like the Lord is really revealing things to my heart that I was like, if you were to ask me, I would say, yes, I am drinking enough water. Until I started tallying and realizing, oh, I'm not. I would say, yes, I work out every single day. I do. But I didn't realize how little I was doing the rest of the time, right? So anyways, sneak peek, go listen to the podcast when it's posted. But really, truly and honestly, I am so serious about this business and what it produces. I would not invest in this business, both financially and with my time, if I didn't believe that it would return something beyond what I could invest in right now. Like I have the long-term vision for what this is. And so I am looking for women that will take this seriously. And here's part of that, want to invest wisely in the right type of women. There's a lot of people that will say, I want to do this business, but don't do anything with it and are just full of excuses. That's not a wise investment. It's just not. And that sounds really harsh, but I'm being honest, right? Every time that I'm not with my kids, I'm investing into something. It should be worth my time. So if you're serious about something like this, if you have that same heart and mission to honor the Lord, serve your family, and you like health and wellness, this is it for you. If you're willing to work hard, if you can see the value and you can recognize when I am stepping away from my family to do this business, it's a wise investment because of.
So she's using the no true Scotsman fallacy, which is the narrative that only the right woman will succeed. And what this does is that if someone joins and fails, oh, she must not have been coachable enough or hardworking enough. And what that does is it protects Abigail, it protects the MLM Young Living from criticism and blames a victim. It's also the fallacy of appeal to virtue. They're equating joining her team with being a virtuous woman, a hardworking woman, and, having that growth mindset. So if you don't join, what does that mean? You're lazy, unwilling to grow, not kingdom minded enough. It's emotional blackmail, okay? Not recruitment. It's also spiritual identity gaslighting, in my opinion. You got the false dichotomy plus identity manipulation. You're either a God honoring woman who's ready to join and work hard, or you're not. Which one are you? It ties your value to compliance, obedience. That's gross.
What it will produce. I'm going to look beyond right now, and I'm going to see generationally what this could invest into my children. Again, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Well, how do we
Once again, she's not reading that last portion.
that? We invest wisely our time and our finances now. And this is how I do it as a mom of 6 that homeschools, that values the Lord, that values my time in my home, that wants to raise up a next generation of godly, God-fearing humans. They are my priority. So this, for me to do this, means that it is valuable to me because I recognize that it is worth my investment. Does that make sense? So I'm looking for more people like that, okay? So if you're serious about this, if you're on my team, message me. If you are wanting to return to my team, message me. If you are not a Young Living member, send me a message. Like, let's get this started. Like, it is truly such a gift, such a blessing. And it can be for generations to come if you're willing to do this in a way that is, you do have to show up for it, and you do have to invite people in, and there is a way to do this business, but anybody can do it. So that's what I'm looking for, putting it out there. I am praying that the right women hear this message. I'm praying that the right women come to my team, that God anoints the team that I am building. There was this quote. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. I'm going to be distracted and looking for the wrong thing. Anyways, all that to say, send me a message if this is you. I'm praying for a team of godly women that love their families to join, lock arms, run all the way, and really take this seriously, and not just occasionally do it if you feel like it, but to push through and say, no, I'm going to invest my time and my money wisely for future generations. And that's who I want to work with. So if that's you, send me a message, boo. Okay, bye guys.
She even says it there at the end, that this is all about recruitment. Recruit. And once again, I'm going to assume she's at least in the top 2%, and she is wanting more. I want more people on my team. More. Greedy, gaslighting, lying, deceptive, manipulative. And Abigail, I don't like what you're putting out there. I don't think that it aligns with the Bible. And I'm not here for it. So with that being said, as always, I hope that they find the light, I've already said all that, so I don't need to say it some more, but there's always hope. God always forgives. And I just want to thank everyone for watching. I just want to say thank you so much for those who have subscribed. I can't even believe it. My goal was 6. I now have 40. That is insane to me. And I'm so grateful. If you haven't already, I would love another subscriber. I am so incredibly grateful that you want to join this little journey that I am on. And if you want to, click the bell icon. As always, I don't have notifications on, so I'm not going to ask that you do. But if you do want notifications of my latest videos, I'm trying to post as much as possible. I edit my own videos, and I for the first time ever, I actually had it all planned out. So hopefully this editing will go a lot faster. I also have 25 megabits per second internet. So uploading a video can take upwards of 9 hours. Yes, I'm crazy. I know. My husband is begging for faster internet. I might actually say yes eventually. With that being said, I'm just super, super grateful for your subscriptions. And remember, it's free. So join me if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching today's video. And remember, Jesus didn't need an upline, so neither do we. Bye.